Imagine this. You're 17. You study every night. You skip parties. You cram for the SATs twice, 3 times, praying you get the score that changes your life. Now imagine the girl sitting next to you. She doesn't study. She's never stayed up past midnight for a test in her life. She barely even shows up to class. But when the acceptance letters come out, she gets into the school of your dreams. And you don't. How? Because while you were filling in answer bubbles, her parents were writing secret checks, bribing fake coaches, forging test scores, hacking the entire college admissions system while everyone else played by the rules. This isn't a movie. This isn't just another Hollywood scandal. This happened to real kids all across America. And at the center of it, some of the biggest names on TV. Felicity Huffman, Loughlin. Parents who smiled on red carpets while paying millions under the table to guarantee their kids a golden ticket to the Ivy League. It's called Operation Varsity Blues, the biggest college cheating scandal in American history. One FBI wiretap, a secret mastermind, forged SATs, photoshopped athletes, and a bribery trail that exposed just how easy it is to buy your way into a school that says it's for the best and brightest. And here's the twist nobody talks about. The celebrities barely did any time. The guy who organized the entire scam, he flipped on everyone. And the students who actually got in, most of them kept their degrees. So how did this all work? How did rich families hack the system? And why does it feel like the dream of hard work equals success was just a fairy tale from the start? Today you're going to see exactly how the scam was built, how it stayed hidden for years, and how many of the same tricks are still happening now, just more quietly, more carefully, and more expensive than ever. It starts with one man, Rick Singer. On the outside, he looked harmless, just another college counselor smiling in his LinkedIn photo, promising to help your kid get into the best school possible. But Rick Singer wasn't just selling advice. He was selling a secret back door. For years, Rick told parents there were 3 ways into an elite school. The front door, you earn it. The back door, you write a massive check, tens of millions in donations, build a new library wing, slap your name on a building. Legal, but only for the ultra-wealthy. And then there was his way, the side door. Cheaper than a new building, safer than a bribe in a briefcase, and way more secret. For the right price, Rick could forge an SAT score. He could get a fake test proctor to feed your kid answers. He could pay an entire testing center to look the other way. And if that didn't work, he'd turn your kid into a star athlete, on paper. Rick had a network of shady coaches at big schools. Yale, Georgetown, USC. They'd take a bribe, say your kid was the next soccer prodigy or star rower, even if they'd never played a day in their life. Parents sent in photos. Some kids posed on rowing machines in their backyard. Some moms photoshopped their kids' face onto real athletes' bodies. It was that easy. Rick's price? It ranged from $50,000 to $6 million, depending on how desperate you were and how big you wanted to swing. And if you're thinking, come on, they must have known the kids were in on it. Not always. Some kids honestly had no idea their parents were buying fake scores behind their backs. But others? They bragged about their special connections. They knew the tests were rigged, the sports resumes were fake, and they were happy to smile for the camera. It all stayed secret for years. Rick bragged he'd done it for over 700 families. 700 back doors. While millions of normal kids took real tests, real exams, real debt. So how did it finally break? It started with a single banker. The FBI was investigating a totally unrelated fraud case. One suspect started talking. He told agents about Rick Singer's little side hustle, how he knew a guy who could get your kid into Yale for the right price. The FBI couldn't believe it, so they wiretapped Rick's phone. What they heard was a soap opera of desperate parents. Felicity Huffman calling about a fake SAT score for her daughter. Loughlin's husband paying $500,000 to get their daughters into USC as fake rowing recruits. Coaches pretending not to know, then emailing Rick, "Where's my cut?" When the feds moved in, they hit it all at once. 50 people indicted. Coaches, parents, test administrators, even a Disney Channel star's mom. The headlines were nuclear. America freaked out. The celebrities were paraded into court in designer sunglasses and handcuffs. Felicity Huffman pled guilty and served 11 days in jail. Loughlin fought it longer, then took 2 months behind bars. Rick Singer, the mastermind? He flipped on everyone. He wore a wire for months, recording new parents who thought they were buying their kid's dream. In the end, he got 3.5 years. But prosecutors admitted, without him talking, they might never have nailed the big names. Meanwhile, normal students watched it unfold. Some realized they'd lost a spot they should have had. Some sued. Some tried to force schools to expel the cheaters. Most of the kids, they kept their acceptances, their dorms, their degrees. The colleges claimed they were victims too. They blamed the coaches, the rogue insiders, the parents. But the truth is, for years, the schools didn't look too closely at where the money came from, or why a random kid from LA was suddenly the next elite water polo recruit. Here's what stings the most. Operation Varsity Blues was massive. It made headlines for weeks. But when the dust settled, what really changed? Sure, a few rich parents got mugshots. A few millionaires wrote tearful apology letters. A few kids learned their parents thought they couldn't succeed on their own dot. But the game, it's still rigged. Legacy admissions still exist. If your parents went to Harvard, your odds skyrocket. If they donate a few million, you're in. Private college counselors, just like Rick but legal, now charge 6 figures for coaching, test prep, essay ghostwriters, sports scholarships for kids who never plan to go pro. It's not gone. It's just quieter, more polite, more expensive. Rick Singer kept notes. He wrote everything down. Who paid what? Which coaches were on the hook? Which kids got which scores? When the FBI raided his house, they found spreadsheets that read like a black market admissions catalog. 700 families, hundreds of bribes, millions moved offshore through fake charities. One charity was literally called the Key Worldwide Foundation. On paper, it looked like a nice nonprofit. In reality, it was Rick's slush fund. Money in, bribes out, no questions asked. Parents wrote off the donations on their taxes. They got a double discount, a fake degree and a tax break for cheating. One parent sent an email with the subject line, "Please destroy after reading." Spoiler, it wasn't destroyed. Another bragged to friends about how easy it was to fix their kids' scores. They thought they were untouchable. One of the most surreal moments? FBI agents showing up at Loughlin's mansion at dawn, banging on the door while paparazzi waited outside. Her daughter, Olivia Jade, a YouTuber with millions of followers, lost sponsorship deals overnight. In her old videos, she joked about not caring about school. Now people saw why. It wasn't just celebrities. A casino mogul's family paid millions to get a kid into Stanford as a sailor. The kid had never sailed a day in his life. At Yale, a soccer coach took almost $1 million to slot in fake recruits, some who never even visited campus until move-in day. One dad, a hedge fund CEO, paid $75,000 to have someone secretly take the SAT for his kid. The proctor just erased the wrong answers and filled in the right ones. Dozens of tests. Dozens of scores. Nobody checked because everyone wanted to believe the story. Perfect child, perfect test, perfect family. When news broke, people wanted blood. Politicians promised reforms. Colleges made noise about reviewing their admissions. But behind closed doors, legacy admissions stayed. Endowments ballooned. Private consultants doubled their fees. If anything, the Varsity Blues scandal taught the ultra-rich exactly where the loopholes were and how to hide them better. The smart ones didn't stop cheating. They just learned to make the checks bigger, the paperwork cleaner, the middlemen invisible. Meanwhile, middle-class families took out more loans than ever. Students worked 2 jobs to make tuition. Kids who did it right, who studied, who earned it. Watch the rich bend the system and walk away with a slap on the wrist. Years later, Rick Singer sat in court and apologized. He said he'd lost himself chasing money, that he was deeply ashamed. But by then, he'd kept millions for legal fees, cut a deal with prosecutors, and still had years to figure out how to profit next. Felicity Huffman did a tearful interview about redemption. Loughlin booked new acting gigs. Olivia Jade's influencer career rebounded. The system? Still the system. And that's the real kicker. If you're rich enough, you can buy redemption too. A well-crafted apology. A rehab stint. A headline about growth. Meanwhile, the kid who didn't cheat? Nobody gives them a book deal. So maybe the next time you see another "I got in" Instagram post, look closer. How did they really get in? Whose seat did they really take? Who paid for that shiny photo in the ivy-covered quad? Because the real scandal isn't that Rick Singer found a side door. It's that the side door was always there, waiting for the people who knew how to find it. And the real lesson? It never closes. It just moves when the light hits it. This isn't just about college. It's about how trust really works in America. What's for sale? Who gets ahead? Who pretends they earned it? So study hard. Dream big. But don't ever stop asking who's cheating quietly while you're playing fair. And keep watching. Because next time we're going inside the billion-dollar co-working empire that scammed investors from New York to Tokyo. A fake vision sold as the future until it all fell apart. This is Midnight Watch. Subscribe, stay sharp, and remember, never trust the fairy tale.